I put some music for the background. Let me know if you hear the music in the chat. So we'll start in 30 seconds. Give this a lot of attendance today. Cool, I think we start. Hi, everyone. Can you just want to make sure that the audio, I'm not seeing the microphone moving. Are you all able to hear me? Can anyone do a sign, do an emoji, a chat, anything? Making sure you can all hear me. Are you all able to hear me? Is there any sound issue? Nama, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, fantastic. Cool. Cool, perfect. So let's start. Nice to see you all. Thanks a lot for being so many. So today this is our monthly community session. What I'm going to take you through are the recent updates, July updates. Although it's the summer, we've been busy with a lot of cool stuff. The session is also recording if you want to catch up afterwards. So what are we going to talk about today? So easy automation. There's a lot of things around happening around automations and workflows, and I'll share more details today. So we started with small UI improvements. Dynamic, really an advance for enterprise, a dynamic entity read access, and I will explain what it is. We're going to talk about enhanced integration logging. One of the frictions sometimes is to get some issues when you ingest data and you want to have more information. So we've improved a lot the insights that you get. Running actions from MCP. We're investing a ton in AI and MCP these days, and I'll tell you more about this. Related entity views as well, and some other improvements that we're going to touch briefly. And there is also a bonus that is not described here that I will keep for the end. Cool, so let's start. The first big update that we've had, and I'll show you a quick demo, is a new UI for automations. Automations was a beta until now. One of the reasons that it was all JSON, so we are gradually moving some of the experience into a UI. I would just like to show you how it looks like. So I created a new automation, and now the triggers are from a dropdown, so they're automatically filled. So for example, when the timer expires, I want to, if, for example, a user had specific permissions, I want to do something. So the first part used to be a JSON, and it's not anymore. It's a UI, and now you'll be able, so I don't have a timer property in this blueprint, but I will be able to use it and just focus on the action itself, on what change I want to do. Okay. Related to automations, I want to give you a heads up as well that we are working on a workflow. So automations will be part of workflows with different steps. That's coming fairly soon with a closed beta at the end of the month. If you are really interested in workflows, meaning multi-steps approval and multi-steps actions, including automations, please ping us and tell us that you want to be part of the closed beta. So probably it's available end of August, but probably we'll start to add selected customers in September for launch at end of this quarter. Cool. The next updates are widget filters, creations UI. Until now, there are some filters that were all JSON. So let me just show them to you. For example, I want to have in a widget, I want to add initial filters. For example, so the first thing was initial filters used to be a JSON. Now it is a UI. So I'm able to, for example, to say the teams are my teams. I'm able to do it in a UI. And what we've added now is also the same ability in widgets. So for example, in widgets, I also have filters that are now UI filters, making it much easier to create smart filters in all objects. And we are working in the world of widgets on a few more cool stuff, such as global filters is next in line. Great. Please feel free to ask questions. And oh, I see that there's chat, yeah, in the QA. Um, and I will take all the questions at the end, but feel free to drop your answers, all your questions in the chat, and I'll come back to all the questions that are asked. And yes, I already see your question that I'm going to take in a minute. Great. The next, so that's an example of the UI. The next small update that we have brought is an anti-message. So until now, the message was not really intuitive, that there were not intuitive for the end users, for the builders it was. So now you can customize the empty text and have it even dynamic with some URL. So you can choose for every widget what you want to see when there is no data. Maybe the user doesn't have permissions to see things, or maybe there's just nothing to see. So just you can customize the message. It's super easy. It's a new field in the widgets. Perfect. A fairly advanced ones, probably only for the largest or the most advanced users, but dynamic entity read access. So RBAC for entity read. Not only my teams, but I want to have conditional views in tables of stuff like, for example, the user is on call or not on call. So based on that, I want to show or not show. So this is now available. It's kind of dynamic permissions, but for entity read. So dynamic permissions of actions, if you remember, if you're familiar with them. This is now available, and that's already implemented by one of the largest customer. And I have shared here a link to the docs. Maybe I'll just open it to you so that you can find where it is. So granular access to control to catalog data. So that's an additional RBAC capability. It has also been, because RBAC is fairly advanced and has a lot of things. Also, we updated the RBAC capabilities overview, where it is now described as well here how to see a filter dynamically based on the users. So you can also find it in the overview. When you are just getting started with RBAC, I suggest to first get familiar with this page to understand the main functionalities before drilling into specific ones. Integration logging. So let me, super nice. How to get to this view, I will show you. Basically, if you get into the builder data source and you pick an integration, sorry, I don't have it in my environment. So let's just install maybe Argo CD. And I'll put the random. No, I need to have something that is live. Apologies, I reset my whole action. I will have, okay, user at jira.com. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And I think it should be fine. If not, I'll skip it. Yeah, jira.com, HTTPS. And I'll see it in a second. Otherwise, perfect. So when creating an integration, you have a new view that is going to show you, yeah, it's okay. It's sorry for that. It's going to show you when you click on the integration. I just wiped my whole personal integration, restarted it, and just didn't realize I would need it today. You will be able to see the kind and where did entities get filtered. And I think I have actually a screenshot here. This in this example, I have a blueprint. I'm ingesting. We are properly ingesting 12,000 entities, but you can see that we're filtering out 12,000. So this indicates me that there's no issue in the permissions, there is no issue in the exporter. There's probably an issue in the filtering in my data mapping. Okay, so that's how helps me understand where to look for the error, where to improve. Great. The other fantastic stuff, and let me ask a question to everyone, if you can answer in the chat. Has anyone in the call played with MCP? And yes or not? Even if it's a no, don't be shy. And if not, I'll give you a glimpse of MCP today and some new functionalities that we have answered. So if you have played with MCP, please write it in the chat, or even if not. So what is MCP, just in a word? MCP is the ability to interact with port from a third-party tool, from Claude, from Copilot, from Cursor, from anything. Extremely powerful, really powerful. So let me show you an example just in my environment before we run into it. I'm not familiar with Codebeamer. Codebeamer is a tool for software management that is used by a customer. And they said, okay, how can we integrate to it? I went into Cursor, integrate it into MCP. So really easy. You can do GitHub, GitHub, GitHub.io MCP. You will find our MCP server. And you will see the instructions to set it up. So if you use Cursor, if you have Claude, if you have any tool that Copilot now supports MCP, you can easily set it up. It takes literally a few minutes. The MCP will use your permissions. And what you will be able to say, I just said to Cursor, I would like you to create blueprints, a data model to represent my Codebeamer tool. And I have little understanding of what is Codebeamer. It created 3 blueprints. It explained, you're familiar with Cursor. It explained the data modeling or the toolings of Cursor, and it represented, you see a project and requirements. So basically, it's the ability to track requirements all the way to production, created the right properties based on the specs from Codebeamer, created relations to them. So all of this took me just a prompt, super powerful. And you can see even I have some entities there, and I'm able to track them. So all of this created by MCP. In MCP, you can, from Cursor, you can ask what are my services, show me what are the dependencies, what libraries are used by this service, and what we just added in July. So those are not new capabilities. What we just added in July is the ability to run actions. So I'm saying, so the MCP has visibility on self-service actions, and I'm able to say, okay, can you run actions? And you can actually, it will show you and be able to run them directly from a Cursor or from any MCP tool. So really powerful. We are working in today. You need to have Docker locally to run your MCP locally. So basically, you have a little Docker that is an interface, but that's temporary. In a month, we will have a remote MCP so that you just need to authenticate with your UI, and you will be able to interact. So think of how powerful it is when you type code. And when your users type code, like what are my dependencies, what is this service, has this service, what API can I use? You can ask anything about port information in the MCP. Okay, and feel free to copy this URL. I'll share this in the chat. I'll share this in the chat so that you can also have a look later, and we'll invite you to play with the MCP server. Few more updates, granular related entities. So I explain you the use case. Imagine that, for example, I have vulnerabilities, but have different paths to go to, for example, or I have a pull request, but I have different paths from a pull request to a team. Maybe I have a path from repository, or I have a path maybe from GitHub user. So you may want to decide what path will be the right one. So it's more granular. So you can set it up now. You can customize how the related entities, and we also improved some performance around the related entities. And now they should be loading much faster than before. Fantastic. And that's the little bonus one. So we start to embed more and more AI within our product to make it easier to work. So let me show you. We just added the first one that we added is JQ. You are not seeing it in your organization just yet. It's in beta, but let me show it to you how it works. So let's say that I have a repository, and I want to enrich my repo with a new property that is a calculation property. So I will be able to say Datadog URL. And I will say the calculation, it will be a URL. And I would like to create, but I'm not sure of the JQ. So I would say I would like to create a new URL that starts with https datadog.com port and attached the service identifier to the URL in a query, for example, formats. Okay, and if everything goes fine, it will be able to create a nice JQ calculation. And for everyone who's sweating when the CJ queues, you can create now some new properties and be able to see it so calculation, sorry, Datadog. So my Datadog URL, and it should be somewhere there. Datadog URL should be created. Datadog URL, and nothing was created, but I'm going to check in the format. I have a short recorded demo just here where you're able to play with it. Super, super nice. Okay, so we're going to play my URL. I'm going to go into what we created. So create a URL with okay, and that's basically a start of a new way of a new phase of getting to see, starting to see more and more AI within the product. Some parts of Porta, you can do everything, but they can be more complex than others, and that will give you this super, super nice experience and more to come. Great, almost done. Then a few more updates that you can see. We've published a lot of guides, recent guides in the UI. So there are two in the doc, sorry, two more things that you can see. So tons of more guides that you can filter. And this is a list of visualizing, for example, deployments, EC2s, status pages, and a lot. So feel free to screenshot this and to see what's new. And we launched as well another full page, which is the solution page that is just new, where so the guides are very short and just to tackle a very specific use case or very specific integration. And now we're starting to structure them in solutions where a solution takes a whole use case and takes you through step by step and structure the guides in a way that you will be able to create a whole flow for incident management. And if you go follow a whole guide, you will have both the visibility, self-service actions, automations, and everything that is good best practice. Feel free to go ahead and pick a guide. It's longer than pick a solution. It's longer than a guide, and that's the objective of a solution. The last reminder, and then I'll start answering questions. I want to remind you that our roadmap is open and accessible. So you can go into port as IO/roadmap, and you can even inference the roadmap. You will be able to see what we are working on. Those are the next features that are upcoming and what is planned. And if you want to influence a feature, if you want something to come faster, feel free to go ahead and vote. You can also click on all the features and search. For example, I want to choose something on OAuth. I will be able to see it and vote it. It's something is super, super critical in an existing port customer. Also, ping your TSM. We can also raise the internal priorities. You can see that, for example, one of the top requested is handling multiple requests, and the good news is that it's coming very, very soon. Cool. Thank you very, very much. So I'll go back into, so now is a good time to start dropping questions and asking questions. So yes, I see that you're asking questions. Is there a way to run an automation recurrently, like a cron job? Today, no, but there are two ways to, like not out of the box in a click of a button, but there are two ways to achieve this fairly easily. One are the TTL. I don't know if you're familiar with the TTL. So it depends what you want to achieve and what's the use case. Like, do you want to run something on Sundays at midnight every Sunday, like a specific time, or just something regularly? So what I would recommend, the easiest way to achieve what you described is to use a TTL. So you can create a TTL property. Sorry, a timer property. You're going to create a timer property, have it, for example, reset for 12 hours or 20 or 24 hours, and then, sorry, yeah. And then with an automations, you can use an automations to trigger an action. Actually, let me show it to you all the way. And then you can use an action that is going to pick on this timer getting to 0. For example, at the end of the timer, I want you to send a message. I want to terminate an ephemeral environment. So those are actions that you can do. That would be the one easy way to achieve that. Another way, but this cannot 100% guarantee that it's always happening on the same day at the same time. It's just if you want something like every day or every week, that's great. And then in the automation, you reset the TTL, so that would work well. Another way, if you need it at a specific time, is to use a cron. It's basically to use maybe a cron in a CI just to ping to trigger a specific job. So it's a little workaround, not ideal. I will ask if in the new workflow we have a cron. It's as I described at the opening, we are working on workflows. So hopefully this may come. Let me confirm. Yes, sir. If you are in the community, feel free to ping me in the. I don't know if you are in the community of Slack, so that I can also answer you there. Okay, I'm also taking the notes just so that I don't forget. So, so if you are in the, maybe if you can type me in the cron job. Yeah, cool. Any other questions? Feel free to write in the Q&A if there are any other questions. Maybe I can ask another question. What is the most desired feature? What is the feature that you're all waiting the most? Maybe if you want to give, maybe share in the Q&A if there's anything that you're waiting for the most. Yeah, there's a question about multiple workspaces. So multiple workspaces is something that we're working on. Today in Port, if you are a commercial customer of Port, you can have multiple organizations. You can have one, two, three organizations. For example, it's a best practice with dev, staging, and production. With the upcoming workspaces, you will be able to switch between them inside. So today you access them from your SSO provider. You will be able to switch between them inside directly in the UI. So you set up the SSO only once. Cool. Actually, I have also good news. So creating folders via the APIs. So the next thing that we're working on, there's a question about creating folders from APIs. Let me just confirm specifically folders, but I'm 99% sure that it's the case. Let me just show you something that we're working on. It's the pages, APIs. Yeah, I'll show you here. And also I will answer you. You see here, Pages API. So what we are working on a big major feature that we're working on. It's a big effort, so it's taking us up to September. We are working on supporting the whole Pages API, so widgets, filtering, page order, folders, and everything. So this will be it's a big work. The work has started. It's a big feature for us, and we're working on it. So let's just do that. Maybe if you could. Maybe just leave a comment here. I'll share with you the URL. Just asking about the folder specifically. It's part of this feature. So this feature will give a full API support for Pages. It will also give support for Terraform. So you will be able to manage them as code. Yeah, I cannot wait for Pages. Me either. Believe me, like many wait for this, and I also can't wait. So the work is started. It's kind of a 3 months work on. So it has started. We are a third way through. Another 2 months, and we're good. Cool. Anything else? What's your most desired feature? Or you have everything you need? Maybe if not a feature, I can share an idea. I don't know, is AI top of mind in your organization? Is AI something you talk about? Do you have AI agents all over the place? If so, maybe if I may suggest, one core use case is using Port to manage your AI agents. So to create a catalog of AI agents, give approvals when creating your AI agents and tracking their actions, and also giving them actions through Port rather than directly into tools that would improve the governance of AI agents. Very strong use case. these days. So Pod is a perfect place. So to explain again, like create a catalog with AI agents, listing the agents and giving them permissions of your tools through Pod so that they are in control. And you can also have audit logs and traceability of everything that has been done. Cool. I'll give it another minute or two to see if there are more questions. And if not, we'll wrap it up. Cool. Thank you very much for attending today and see you in Slack or in live. Yeah, there's a question. Nama, you had a question. Well, cool. Bye-bye.